Welcome to my channel. We were discussing about anxiety and insomnia, how ruminating and thinking about worst case scenarios might increase anxiety and rumination, and why is it difficult to fall asleep, and what you can do in order to help yourself. I want to remind that these videos are not diagnosing or cannot be accepted as treatment. I'm just sharing some useful information from evidence-based practices, interventions, and to help yourself to ask some questions that might help to decrease feelings of anxiety or might help you to cope with rumination. We have already discussed that each time when we have automatic thoughts, when we go to bed, if we continue to respond to it with another thought, or if we don't notice anxiety, this can rise anxiety and this can generate even more thoughts, because your brain has learned that ruminating or feeling anxious is something that works for you, and maybe your brain has learned it as if it's something safe. That's why this cycle might be continuing and it might be difficult to stop rumination. And the first step to help yourself is by noticing and increasing your self-awareness. Each time when you notice this thought when you go to sleep, uh, labeling the thought, naming the thought as mental event would help you to create distance between your thoughts and feelings, and would help to decrease amygdala activation and increase prefrontal regulation. And this might help you to regulate your feelings and to focus on something more instead of ruminating or continuing to feel anxious. Because at the point when you notice that this is a thought and there is nothing dangerous about it, or it's not urgent, you are sending signals to your brain that this place is safe and you can try other types of behavior and different ways of responding to the thoughts and feelings. And you already have everything that you need, because I remember times when you were able to cope with rumination, to break the cycle, or to go to sleep even when you were anxious. And what was different during those times? Which strategies did you use? How did you respond to yourself? What helped you to calm down, to regulate your emotions? If you will be able to notice these differences, it's possible to recreate them again. And in therapy, we believe that everyone has capacity and capability and strength, skills that they already have in themselves that they can use to cope with the challenges they are experiencing. So many people are asking, why can't I sleep even when I feel exhausted or tired? It's crucial. Sleep doesn't come from effort. Sleep comes from feelings of safety. And at night, generally, distractions drop, and you can more easily hear your self talk, and your brain scans for unresolved threats or problems. And work anxiety will be one of the reasons why it's showing during the night. And according to neurobiology, elevated cortisol blocks melatonin, and therefore it might be difficult to relax and to go to sleep whenever your brain is active and constantly thinking and trying to generate solutions. And that becomes associated with problem solving. If you are every day you are going to bed and trying to solve your problems, ruminating, this becomes a habit. And brain learns that bed is a dangerous zone where this rumination is happening. So you can try to schedule journaling time before going to sleep, and you can try to write down your thoughts. This might help to regulate your emotions and to understand your thoughts and to decrease rumination. And if your mind will start to whisper the same stories again, silently repeat, I hear you, but nothing needs to be solved right now. And once you will be able to notice these automatic thoughts, and once you learn to respond to them differently instead of getting more anxious or trying to solve the problem or ruminating or thinking about worst case scenarios over and over again, if you are able to break this cycle and to have a compassionate self talk with yourself and tell to yourself kindly, I understand that you care about your work, but it doesn't has to be urgent and nothing has to be solved right now. You are slowly sending signals to your brain that there is nothing to feel scared, there is nothing urgent, and you slowly learn that bed is related with safety, and you still can sleep even at the presence of these automatic thoughts. And each time you tell it and speak to yourself, you are slowly teaching your brain that there is no danger and nothing needs to be resolved urgently. And what do you think would change if you could sleep more? What difference would it make for you if you could sleep better despite stress? What would be a slight improvement in sleep look like? What would you notice if you could sleep more? Or what would be the first sign that you are able to fall asleep, even despite uncomfortable feelings or thoughts that might visit you? And if your sleep have returned, what would improve first tomorrow? What would other people notice being different about you? What might have helped you to achieve that state? The brain learns contextual fear. If the bad becomes associated with thinking, the brain will trigger alertness automatically, even when you are exhausted. And this noticing the urge to think more without following it weakens the habit loop faster than distraction. So each time when you are naming the thought or feeling, or when you are noticing the thought, you are actually becoming aware that this is whatever your mind tells you doesn't have to be 100% reality, and you don't have to respond to it as if this would happen right now. And noticing it that this is just a thought might help to stay more regulated, more calm, and would help you to allow to go to sleep. So how do successful people think differently under pressure? Successful people uh, it's not true that successful people don't worry. They don't fuse with their thoughts, and they change a relationship with the thoughts that they have. For instance, if you are having a thought, I'm going to fail, you might interpret it as I'm having the thought that I might fail. And this this shift helps to reactivate the prefrontal cortex and to change chemistry of your brain, because you are sending different signals of safety. uh, and it can be easier to experience feelings of calmness when you see your thoughts just as thoughts, as mental events, when you are able to notice your feelings. And if you will be able to notice your feelings and thoughts with curiosity and trying to understand why you have these feelings, for instance, if you are worrying about your work or career, it just means that you care about your work, about your career, or people in your work. This would help you to decrease anxiety and to understand yourself better and to approach yourself with compassion, kindness, and to fall asleep faster. Imagine that your thoughts floating by like notifications. You don't have to click all of them. And also asking yourself questions about your strengths and what was helping you to cope with challenges in the past might help to find new solutions for yourself, new resources. For instance, what strengths keep showing up even under stress, and what was helping you to fall asleep, to sleep better? Which environments, which habits, which adjustments, which people helped you to sleep better even when the stress was present in your life? And what would your attempt if anxiety wasn't holding you back? What would be possible if anxiety, insomnia were not problems in your life anymore? What difference would it make for you, for your rest, for your health, for other people? And what could be possible if you were not ruminating? Thinking about future and what change you want to see can help you to motivate for change and to search, inspire for finding solutions. When do you feel most competent? What are some moments when you feel less anxious and when you are ruminating less and when you are able to fall asleep? What does your future successful self could thank you for today, if you could see yourself from the future and you could observe your current self who is struggling with rumination and difficulties of falling asleep, what you would like to recommend yourself? Your brain generally learns through reward. Normally, when you have automatic negative thoughts when you go to sleep, anxiety arises, rumination increases, and as you are trying to solve your problems and constantly ruminating, your brain interprets it as if this is something safe and this is a temporary relief. That's why the loop continues, and it's difficult to get out of the loop because your brain has learned that rumination and anxiety is something normal, something that you experience every day, and therefore it might be difficult to break the loop, and this reaction goes automatically. However, when you increase your awareness and when you start to respond differently to anxiety and to automatic thoughts, and if you are able to see your thoughts and feelings and mental events and to observe them with curiosity, you are breaking the cycle, and it will be easier for you to regulate yourself and to respond in the ways that you want to respond, that would serve your goals and that would help to improve your well-being. And once you will be able to respond to thoughts and feelings with curiosity, and once you would feel more regulated, this would bring you relief and your brain will be able to relearn it. So, next time when you will have anxiety, you can try to name the feeling and you can become aware that this is just a mental event, this is anxiety, this is the thought, and you can get curious about it and try to observe it from distance, and try to stay with anxiety or with that thought, accepting it a little bit longer than usual. And you would notice that slowly anxiety is decreasing, and you would feel more regulated, safe, and you would feel less anxious, and it will be easier for you to go to sleep. And your brain will learn slowly that you can survive without spiraling. So if this happened, what would the first sign that you are making progress? What would be the smallest behavior that would weaken this cycle? And what are you already doing that's helping you to improve your sleep, to decrease anxiety, rumination? And how would your life look with less anxiety? What would be different? So staying with discomfort slightly longer rewires your brain faster than avoidance, because the predicted catastrophe doesn't happen. And so the first progress markers that you might notice would be shorter spirals, faster recovery, more self trust, and not total absence of anxiety. So becoming aware of your thoughts and feelings related with this rumination or sleep problem also might be useful. For instance, which thoughts you have about this problem. Maybe you think that you will never be able to sleep as before again, or that you have to sleep immediately, that this is a very huge problem for you. And maybe this approach even making you to feel stressed, and each time when you are trying to force yourself or being too harsh with yourself, this can become a barrier towards recovery and healing or change. And if you will be able to notice these thoughts and again to see them just as mental events and not real facts, or you can find other ways of responding to them. For instance, saying that you are capable, that everything is possible, that change is possible, can help to change your feelings, your approach, and to approach yourself with compassion, kindness. And don't forget that you are not failing, you are adapting. Your mind learned anxiety because it worked once, and now you can teach it again for something better. You can teach for new patterns of behavior that would serve your goals and that would help to improve your mental well being. I hope this video was useful for you. Don't forget to follow me if you want to listen for more content. Thank you for being here and see you in next videos.